At Sunday dinner, my mom said, "Your brother's moving into your place while he gets back on his feet." I nodded. "Sure. If the new owners don't mind." My dad froze mid-bite. "Owners? So now you have some spare cash?" My name's Monica, and if I could take back one sentence in my life, it would be what I said at Sunday dinner 3 weeks ago. I should have kept my mouth shut. I should have smiled, nodded, and said nothing. But instead, I opened the door to chaos with one stupid sentence. I thought I was just sharing an update. I thought we were all adults sitting at a dinner table, capable of being happy for each other. But I should have remembered who I was dealing with. My parents have a long history of twisting things that aren't theirs and convincing themselves they're doing it for the greater good. Mostly Ryan's good. Never mine. That Sunday started like any other. I brought a bottle of wine, Kyle carried the pie. Ryan and his family had been living with my parents for a few weeks by then, after everything went down with his gambling. He lost nearly everything, his job, his car, their rental house. Lisa pretended like it wasn't that bad, but we all knew. The only people who didn't seem remotely disturbed by any of it were my parents. They acted like it was a temporary glitch, like Ryan had just tripped and needed help getting back up. They always saw him as the golden child. He could have set the house on fire and they'd offer him marshmallows. Dinner was roast beef, mashed potatoes, overcooked carrots, and something that looked like cranberry sauce but tasted like cough syrup. Kyle made a joke about the food, I laughed, and then, like she had it written down somewhere, my mom said it. "Your brother's moving into your place while he gets back on his feet." I didn't even flinch. I just said sure, if the new owners don't mind. My dad's fork froze in midair. He looked at me like I'd just announced I was pregnant with an alien. "Owners?" he asked. "So now you have some spare cash?" I should have lied. I should have made something up. But I just smiled and told them. I said we sold the house last week. We'd gotten a great deal, off-market, all cash, no inspections, quick close. Kyle and I wanted to be free for a while. No more lawn work, no more HOA emails, no more mortgage. I'd been the one paying most of it anyway. Kyle's freelance income covered food and hobbies, but the big stuff, insurance, house payments, repairs, was always on me. I'd worked my way up in logistics for 8 years to get us there. That house was supposed to be our anchor. But lately we wanted something different. Less stress, more movement. So we sold it. I didn't see the big deal. But I forgot. Me having money meant opportunities, and opportunities meant options. And to my parents, options meant I could solve other people's problems. Like Ryan's. They didn't say anything right away. My mom just smiled and said, "Well, why don't you two stay here for a bit? We've got the guest room. It'll give you time to figure out what's next." I could feel Kyle tense beside me. He hated being there. He never said much, but I knew the way he sat, the way he looked at my dad across the table like he was bracing for a fight. Kyle never liked how they talked to me, like I owed them something for being successful. I said yes anyway. I didn't even ask Kyle until we were in the car. He was pissed. He asked me if I was out of my mind. But I told him it was temporary, just a few weeks. My parents would be fine. It's just one room. It'll save us some money while we figure out our next move. I didn't notice how curious they started getting after we moved in. It was little things. My dad asked questions about the house sale, what we netted, how we got a buyer so fast. My mom made casual comments about how expensive things were getting, how tight their retirement fund had been lately. She started asking when we were planning to start looking again. Then came the more specific questions. How much was in the bank? Were we thinking of buying outright or financing again? Kyle warned me again. He said something didn't feel right. But I brushed it off. I thought they were just being nosy. Then one day Kyle and I went out to meet some friends for lunch and check out a few neighborhoods. We were gone for 4 hours. When we came back, the house felt wrong. Not messy, not broken into. Just wrong. I went into our room to grab something from my bag. The envelope was gone. The envelope with $25,000 cash. Gone. It was supposed to be temporary. Just until we moved the rest into the bank. I didn't even tell them I had cash. I kept it hidden in my bag, zipped up in a side pocket. No one else had been in the house. No one but them. And that was when everything changed. I didn't panic right away. I thought maybe I'd misplaced it. Maybe Kyle moved it. Maybe I left it in the car or tucked it in the closet when we unpacked. I didn't want to believe what my gut was already screaming. I checked everything. Every drawer, every pocket, every suitcase, every coat. I even lifted up the mattress like we were in some motel room on a bad crime show. The envelope wasn't anywhere. It had been there that morning. A thick white envelope with $25,000 in it, tucked in the inside zip pocket of my black tote. Cash from the sale we hadn't deposited yet. I didn't want to put it all in the bank at once. Something about keeping a little on hand made me feel safer. I told Kyle exactly where it was. No one else knew. And now it was gone. I walked out of the room, heart hammering so loud I couldn't hear the TV from the living room. My mom was at the kitchen sink, scrubbing a mug like it owed her money. She looked up and smiled like nothing was wrong. I asked her calmly if she'd gone into our room. She said she needed the laundry basket from the closet. I nodded and told her something was missing. A white envelope. Important papers. She didn't flinch. She asked if Kyle moved it. He hadn't. Then I asked again. Same question, different tone. This time she gave me a long look before turning back to the mug. What kind of papers? I didn't answer that. I just stood there waiting. I already knew what this was. I just didn't want to believe it yet. My dad wandered in with his beer asking what was going on. I told him. I said I had cash, $25,000, and it was gone. He blinked once. Then looked straight at me and said, "You left that much cash just sitting in your bag?" He laughed. Then looked at my mom like I'd done something ridiculous, like I'd left a diamond necklace in a sandbox and was now shocked it wasn't there. I asked again. Direct this time. Did you take it? Neither of them said yes. But neither of them said no. My mom started going on about how these things happen, and how money comes and goes, and how we were still young. Then she mentioned Ryan, how hard things had been for him lately, how we couldn't possibly understand the stress he was under, how he just needed a little breathing room to get back on his feet. My dad jumped in, said we didn't have kids, so it wasn't like we had real responsibilities yet. Said family means helping each other out. Said maybe I shouldn't carry that kind of temptation around when my brother was in a fragile place. And there was. They were never going to give it back. They had decided it didn't belong to us anymore. That it somehow made more sense in Ryan's hands. I told them it wasn't theirs to decide. That they had no right. That it was theft. My mom started crying real tears, and said she couldn't believe I'd accused them of something like that after everything they'd done for me growing up. My dad got defensive, said I'd changed, that money had made me cold. Then he told Kyle to calm me down. Kyle didn't say anything. He just stared at them like he was trying to memorize their faces. We packed our things. Not all of them, just enough to get out. When we left, my parents stood in the hallway like nothing was happening. Like we were being dramatic. Like we were making a big deal over just some money. That night we found a last-minute room at a rundown motel near the freeway. I sat on the edge of the bed holding the empty envelope I'd dug out of the trash. No cash, just an empty shell. I kept staring at it like the money would appear if I blinked enough times. We didn't speak much. Kyle said he'd known something like this was going to happen, and I didn't even argue. He was right. I felt humiliated. Not just because I lost the money, but because I let them take it. I put us in that house. Thought we were safe. I thought we were smarter than this. But the weirdest part? Ryan hadn't said a word. Not one text. Not one call. Not a single reaction. It took me 2 days to finally call him. And when I did, what he said completely knocked the wind out of me. I waited 2 days. I didn't want to call him at all, honestly. I was still angry. Still raw. But I needed to hear it from him. If he knew, if he was in on it, if the money was sitting in his new rebuilding fund while Kyle and I were eating leftover gas station sandwiches in a motel off the interstate. He picked up on the second ring. I didn't even say hi. I asked him straight up. Did you get the money? He was quiet for a few seconds. Then he said no. Said he didn't even know there was money involved. I told him what happened. The envelope. How we left. The fact that our parents hadn't denied it. I said everything, no filter. My voice cracked a little near the end. Not from tears, just pure disbelief that we were even having this conversation. He didn't interrupt. Just listened. Then he asked me to meet him. Not at the house. Somewhere else. Said he'd explain everything. We met at a diner on the edge of town. One of those places with sticky menus and 10 versions of the same omelet. He was already there when we walked in. Lisa wasn't with him, and I noticed he looked rough, like he hadn't slept or shaved in days. He slid into the booth and didn't waste time. He said he'd overheard them talking 2 nights before the money went missing. Said he heard my mom ask my dad if they should just use the envelope, instead of dipping into their savings again. He hadn't understood what that meant at the time. He thought they were talking about some family paperwork. But when we left in a storm and no one would explain why, he started piecing it together. Then the day after we left, his suspicions were confirmed. My mom told him, calm as ever, that they'd redirected some of our savings to help the family. She said it was just temporary. That Monica and Kyle wouldn't even miss it. That it was all for his future. He said he was sick to his stomach. Said he yelled at them. For the first time in his life, apparently. Told them it wasn't theirs. That I'd worked for that money. That Kyle had put up with more than most husbands would. That I'd bailed him out more than once already, and this was disgusting. I didn't expect that. I really didn't. I was sure he was going to side with them. That he'd already bought something big and couldn't return it. But he looked at me, eyes bloodshot and angry, and said what they did was wrong. That he didn't want money that wasn't his. That he didn't want to be the reason his sister stopped trusting people. He told us the money was in a safe in my dad's closet. He even offered to help us get it back. Kyle didn't say anything. He just nodded once. The next morning Ryan went back to the house. He told them he wanted to talk, said he'd been thinking a lot. Got my dad into the garage, distracted him. Meanwhile, Kyle and I went in through the back, found the key where Ryan said it would be, in a fake book on the second shelf. We opened the safe. The envelope was inside, completely untouched. We left without saying a word. 2 hours later my mom called. 6 missed calls. Then a message. Said she couldn't believe we broke in. That we stole from the family. That Ryan had betrayed them. I didn't respond. Neither did Ryan. Later that night he texted me. Said they kicked him out. Said he and Lisa were looking for a cheap place. And all I could think was, how fast roles reverse in this family and how easy it is to fall from golden child to burden. Took a few days, but eventually the calls turned into voicemails and the voicemails turned into a text. My mom wanted us to come to dinner. She said we needed to clear the air. That family didn't stay angry forever. Kyle didn't even look up from his laptop when I told him. Just said absolutely not. But I said I needed to go, needed to hear what they had to say with my own ears. Not through sob-stained voicemails or guilt-laced messages. I wanted them to look me in the face and try to explain what they did. Ryan and Lisa agreed to come too. I don't know if it was for closure or just because Ryan felt like he had to be there after everything he'd done to help us get the money back. When we pulled into the driveway, everything looked like it always did. Same garden gnomes, same porch swing, same front door with the dent from when Ryan accidentally kicked a soccer ball into it 20 years ago. It was like nothing had happened. Like we weren't walking into a scene from a slow-burn disaster movie. Inside, the table was already set. Roast beef again. Potatoes, some overcooked vegetables. My mom was in pearls. My dad was already drinking. Lisa looked like she wanted to disappear. We sat down. Nobody touched the food. My mom opened with a speech about forgiveness. Said things got blown out of proportion. Said they were hurt by how we left. That it could have been a conversation instead of a heist. She looked at me like I'd betrayed them. Then she turned to Ryan and said she didn't know what I promised him, but he should have trusted his parents. That they were only ever trying to give him a second chance. That everything they did was out of love. Ryan stared at his plate for a second. Then he looked up and said, I didn't need you to steal from me. I needed you to be decent. My dad didn't take that well. He slammed his hand down on the table and started going off about how ungrateful we all were. Said Kyle had poisoned me. Said I'd always thought I was better than them because I made more money. Said Ryan would have been fine if we hadn't made such a big deal out of everything. I asked one question. What would you have done if we never came back for the money? They didn't answer. My mom blinked hard and said, you wouldn't even notice it was gone, Monica. It's not like you needed all of it. And then she added the one line that snapped something in me. It's just money. No, it wasn't. It was the last piece of security we had while starting over. It was mine. It was Kyle's. It was earned. And they felt entitled to it because I happened to be their daughter and Ryan happened to be their golden boy. No yelling happened. No screaming match. We just stood up. All 4 of us. Me, Kyle, Ryan, and Lisa. We left the food untouched, the guilt trip unfinished. That was the last time I saw them. A few days later, we signed a lease on a modest apartment across town. Nothing special. 2 bedrooms, decent light, quiet neighbors. Kyle said it felt like breathing after holding our breath for weeks. I haven't answered any of their calls since. My mom sent a long message about how disappointed she was in me. How family doesn't cut each other out over misunderstandings. I didn't respond. But I did send Ryan a message. Told him we were okay. That we were rebuilding. Then I sent him $5,000. Not because he asked, but because I knew what it felt like to be starting from scratch. He wrote back a few hours later. I'll use it wisely. And thank you for not giving up on me even when it would have been easy. The day we moved into the new apartment, it rained just enough to soak the bottom of every box. Kyle slipped on the stairs carrying a lamp, swore for 5 minutes straight, and then laughed like we just survived something bigger than a move. Maybe we had. The place was small, just over 700 square feet. Beige carpet, outdated tile, walls so thin we could hear the neighbor sneeze. But there was no one asking how much money we had left, no one reminding us who sacrificed more, no one rewriting history at the dinner table. And after everything, that kind of silence felt like wealth. We didn't even have a couch yet. Slept on an inflatable mattress with a slow leak. Ate dinner on overturned boxes and drank wine out of mismatched mugs. But Kyle looked more relaxed than I'd seen him in months. He started sketching again. I caught him humming in the kitchen. I still felt raw. But I was healing. That week I blocked my parents' numbers. It felt extreme, but I knew if I didn't do it, I'd eventually cave. I'd open one of the texts, hear my mom's voice in my head, and start thinking maybe I overreacted. I didn't. We didn't. That's what I had to keep reminding myself. They stole from us, lied about it, justified it. And when we confronted them, they acted like we were the problem. One night, I got a message from an aunt I hadn't heard from in over a year. Said she heard there was some tension, and that my mom was worried sick. I didn't reply. I didn't want to re-explain a story no one would believe anyway. Not the version where the parents are the villains and the golden child says, "Enough." Kyle kept things simple. He said, "You've given them enough chances." And he was right. I counted. This wasn't the first time they'd crossed a line, just the first time I finally refused to let it slide. Then Ryan texted. It was a photo. A small rental house with chipped paint and a patchy front yard. He wrote, "We move in Saturday. It's not much, but it's ours." I stared at that message for a long time. Not because of the house, but because it finally felt like he saw things clearly. Like maybe this whole disaster shook something loose in him. I asked if they were doing okay. He said they were figuring it out. Lisa had picked up part-time shifts at a local bakery. Ryan had taken a job at a warehouse just outside the city. No gambling, no shortcuts, just slow rebuilding. Then he wrote something else. Something that stopped me cold. I didn't use the whole 5. I opened a new account, kept most of it there. I'm only using what I need. Just wanted you to know I'm not wasting it. I told him he didn't owe me an explanation. But I was glad he gave one anyway. He added, "It feels good, you know? To not need anyone's approval. To just earn what you have." And that was the moment I realized, maybe we both escaped something. Not just the house, not just the theft, but the entire framework we were raised in. The one where family means control and love is conditional and loyalty only flows one direction. I wasn't planning to see my parents again. Not this month, not this year. Maybe not ever. The quiet was better. Ryan and I kept texting. Short, real messages. No pretending. Just two people finally seeing each other without the old filters. Kyle said he could live in that apartment forever if it meant we never had to go back. I told him we wouldn't. Because even though clean breaks are never really clean, sometimes they're still the best thing you'll ever do. By the time we hit the end of the month, everything in that little apartment finally had a place. The couch didn't match the curtains, our plates were all chipped from the move, and Kyle's desk was just an old dining table someone left by a dumpster. But it felt like something we built. Just us. No one looking over our shoulders. No one making us feel like we owed them anything. One morning while I was folding laundry and Kyle was eating cereal straight from the box, he looked at me and said we should leave. I didn't ask what he meant. I already knew. He didn't mean the apartment. He meant the city. We'd both grown up here. I had memories on every corner. Some good, but too many of them poisoned by my parents. By that house. By the things they said to me when they thought they were right and the silence that followed when they knew they weren't. I didn't answer Kyle right away. But later that night, lying in bed, I said, "Yeah, let's go." We started looking at cities we'd only ever talked about visiting. Somewhere smaller. Somewhere quieter. We didn't need much. I could find work pretty much anywhere, and Kyle was already working with clients online again. I told him I wanted space. Trees. Less noise. Fewer people who thought love was something to be held over your head like leverage. While we were apartment hunting, I got another message from Ryan. Just a short one. Said he'd fixed the leaky sink in their rental all by himself. No help. No shortcuts. He sent a photo of it too, not because it was impressive but because he was proud. He asked how we were doing and I told him the truth. That we were finally breathing again. That things were quiet in the best possible way. Then I sent him another $5,000. No message. Just the transfer. I didn't even mention it until he texted the next morning. This time he said, "I'm going to do things right. You'll never regret this, Mon." And I knew I wouldn't. Because this wasn't about money anymore. This was about the one person who had a choice. To side with people who never saw me or to stand up when it counted. And he chose me. That mattered more than anything. A week later we signed the lease on a new place out of state. Small town. Big trees. Clean air. It wasn't flashy, and that was the point. I packed everything myself, labeled every box, and didn't even cry once. It felt like I was unpacking the version of myself I'd been too scared to become. We didn't tell anyone. No announcements. No forwarding addresses. My parents would hear eventually, probably from someone else, and when they did, I hope they realize I'm not coming back. Not for birthdays. Not for holidays. Not even for peace. Some people don't deserve second chances. Not because they made a mistake, but because they never thought it was one. They believed stealing from me was just a family solution. They believed love came with conditions. And they believed silence could fix everything. But silence is all they'll get now. That's the only thing I have left to give them. Ryan and I still talk. Nothing deep, just check-ins, life updates, things that make us laugh. Sometimes he tells me about the kids, or sends me photos of projects he's working on. And every now and then he'll say something like, "You did the right thing even when I couldn't." That's enough for me. As for the rest, we're starting over. A different city, a new rhythm, a slower pace. Kyle planted herbs on the balcony. I started cooking again. We go for walks in the evening. We talk more. We sleep better. No one's walking on eggshells. I lost a house. I lost my parents. I lost the version of family I thought I was supposed to hold on to. But I found peace. I found self-respect. I found out what it means to protect the life you've built. And I won't trade that for anything.